gentlemen, and members of the House Health Committee. My name is Elise Shultz, and I reside near Huntsville, and I work as a research scientist. 2 months ago, while in labor, instead of driving 15 minutes to Huntsville Hospital and paying nothing out of pocket, we drove 2 hours to the Farm Midwifery Center in Tennessee, twice in labor, to give birth with a certified professional midwife, or CPM, and pay thousands. And I would find the money to do it again. We risked delivering a baby on the side of the road in the middle of the wintry night. Yes, it was snowing. Or delivering at home with my husband, who may be a doctor, but definitely not a medical one. I made this decision because I wanted evidence-based practices for this pregnancy after I experienced several unnecessary interventions during the birth of my son 3.5 years ago, including surgery. At 7 weeks pregnant last June, I was told by a local OB that a repeat C-section was easy peasy, despite actual evidence that it carries more risk, especially given my genetic profile. In my case, a trial of labor and attempting a vaginal birth after cesarean, or VBAC, carried much less statistical risk. Luckily, I was in the position to drive for supportive care that helped me navigate 70 hours of labor that likely would have ended in a C-section due to failure to wait in a hospital. But not every woman has this choice or these needs. The unintended consequences of barring women from this model of care that they desire can be huge. Women are birthing unattended due to lack of CPM availability. Women are at risk from non-credentialed and unaccountable birth attendants for lack of licensed and regulated options in order to give birth in their own homes. In fact, anyone opposing this bill, given the U.S. MARA approved MICA education language, is fostering actual lay midwifery. With this bill, lay midwives would not be able to practice. With this bill, midwifery would be licensed and regulated, allowing safer options for these mothers and allowing for easier identification of lay midwives. I moved to Alabama almost 10 years ago with bright hopes for my career and my future. While I gained an advanced degree here, my rights and freedoms for birth were taken away when I crossed that state line. The freedom to feel safe in a birth setting with a certified provider. I have faith that our state will be a safe place for me to birth any future children and for my daughter to birth any children that she may have someday. Thank you for your time and your vote for the Childbirth Safety Act.
Any questions for Ms. Shultz?
I had a question.
You said that you drove. How far did you drive?
2 hours one way, but I drove up there and then came back home to labor more and drove back.
Okay, so it's a midwife center, right?
There were birth houses. It's part of the farm midwifery center.
Yeah, because my point is this, I thought the midwifery would be to allow the mother, as you said in your little talk, to birth at home. So what is, if you're gonna get in the car to drive to a center, why wouldn't you just drive to a hospital?
To me, I had not a favorable experience with the hospital, and I did the research knowing I'm a VBAC, and finding supportive care for that is very challenging. And with my risk, I had risk with surgery and blood clots. And so ideally, I mean, I was very angry when I was in labor, and I think that's what caused part of the long labor of driving. I would love to have given birth at my own home. I would love to give birth in a birth center in Alabama. I mean, that would be ideal, to have midwifery care here, and that when I could choose, other women could choose, whether home or birth center. So that's why I drove to a center that has birth houses, because I got more supportive care, and I was supported in labor. I wasn't on the clock.
Well, and I certainly respect everything that you're saying. It's just the hospital has a birth center.
It's not a birth center. It's very very institutional, very whole. I I had my first child in the hospital, and I respect everything that the hospital does. And there is a time and place for it, definitely. But it's not the same. I grew up on a farm, and so it's how we're intended to birth. So that.
I understand. I just had those questions.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought midwifery always occurred in the home, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, they can occur in different settings. And you have certified nurse midwives